Okay, so we'll be just making a start. So just make yourself comfortable. We'll be just going over a little bit of the intro. So just as normal, this event will be shared. It's shared at the moment, currently live streamed on YouTube. Also, the link has been on Facebook as well on our Facebook page. If anybody gets disconnected for any reason, you can log on back onto this Zoom meeting, or you can watch it then through YouTube or Facebook. So if you get disconnected for any reason, also if I'm disconnected, then I'll try to come back as soon as possible, as long as my internet connection is all good. But continue with the meditation during that time. So we'll start in a minute or so once we go through this initial introduction. And the meditation will be around 40 minutes long. At the end, I'll be leave 5 minutes or so, 5-10 minutes for questions. So the cameras are anyway off, and just make sure your mic's already on mute anyway. Sorry, on mute. So just leave it on that. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so just a quick intro on meditation for if anybody's new or watching through the live stream. So meditation is just recognizing our own inner essence, who we truly are beyond beyond our identity, beyond our psychological mind and our self-image of ourselves and the world, is to recognize our existential nature and to bring the attention back into that recognition and into that space of being. And that's the meditation, the state of being. And so the different techniques are used to sort of bring the attention back from being caught up in the outer senses or the thoughts and emotions, to bring our attention back to first an object such as the breath or a point in the body or energy center. And then from there to sort of bring the attention deeper back into that existential being within ourselves. And so during that process, there's a shift of perception, and we start to see reality in a deeper level. Okay, so in today's guided meditation, we'll be using 3 different techniques. First, starting with the breath awareness. So the breath awareness is just watching the breath at the nostrils area. You can feel the sensation of air coming in and out the nostrils as you inhale and exhale. You don't need to change or alter your breathing in any way. It's just simply watching and observing. And then the third eye technique, basically placing our attention at the point in between the eyebrows. However, do this only if you feel comfortable. If you wish to stay with the breath, you can stay with the breath throughout the meditation. Or if you wish to move to the third eye meditation, then you can do. If you feel any tension or too much tension, you need to relax your attention a bit and then come back to the breath and then go back. And so all these meditation techniques are just to bring you back into your own inner being. And that's the last part of the session. For those who are sort of maybe advanced or have sort of recognized that deeper space of being within themselves, they could also not practice the breath awareness or the third eye and just allow themselves just to come back into that space of being and just to be observe whatever experiences come and go, and just to allow that attention to sort of dissolve and into their source, into their being, into their inner presence. If you're not comfortable in that way, or if you're not come to that recognition, inner recognition, then start with the breath, third eye, and then move forward. Okay, so just making yourself comfortable now, and we'll be starting with the meditation. So just closing your eyes. When you feel ready, closing your eyes, making sure you're comfortable, got some cushions, blankets, anything to make you feel comfortable. Preferably sitting up straight if you can, keeping your back straight. At any point you wish to lie down, you can do. We want to make sure we're sort of attentive, not going to sleep, but sort of attentive and aware through the meditation. And so starting first with the breath awareness meditation. So just bring your attention now to the nostril area. As you inhale, you'll feel a sensation of air coming in through the nostrils. As you exhale, you'll again feel another sensation of air moving back out the nostrils. So now allowing your attention to focus at the nostril area. And as you breathe in, you'll feel that slight sensation of air coming in through the nostrils as you inhale, and as you exhale, air moving back out the nostrils. And so some of you may feel that sensation of air predominantly at the left nostril or the right nostril. So some of you may feel it flowing through both the nostrils. However, usually the air is going through predominantly one, either the left or right nostril, and that changes with time. So just see where you can feel that sensation of the breath the most. Is it at the right nostril or left nostril or both? If you feel that sensation predominantly in one nostril, then focus more of your attention at that area, at the left or right nostril, and try to see where you feel that sensation of air the most. Is it lower down the nostril, near the upper lip, or is it higher up the nostril? Start to sense that, and then sort of focus in your attention. If you find it difficult to focus in your attention at a smaller area, then just observe the breath at the entire nostril area initially. As you breathe in, just watching the breath coming in, observing that sensation of the breath. As you breathe out, just watching the sensations, watching the breath moving out. You don't need to change your breathing in any way, but just to simply observe the breath moment to moment. The breathing is naturally flowing, naturally coming in and out. You don't have to do anything, but just connect to that part of the consciousness, which is simply just witnessing, simply just aware. So wherever the attention may be, that part of the consciousness is just aware of that experience. And at the moment, just with your attention to the nostril area, simply aware of the breath. Watching the breath come in and out, either left nostril, right nostril, or both the nostrils. Seeing where you feel that sensation the most, and observing the subtle sensations in the inner nostril. As you observe the breath, you may find yourself changing the breathing pattern in some way as you consciously become aware of it. But with time, you'll just be able to consciously be aware of the breath without the need to change it or alter it in any way. You start to become aware of the breath without reacting to it, trying to change it in any way by observing it. And through this technique of observing the breath as it is moment to moment, we then start to be able to watch our thoughts, emotions, sensations in the body, able to observe it, witness it without trying to alter it, change it, react to it, interpret it. So this skill comes as you practice the breath awareness, but now just focusing on the breath. Naturally, your attention will wander. Your attention may move to some sounds or sensations in the body, or some thoughts or emotions. Whenever you recognize your attention is not with the breath, just in that moment, just be aware of where your attention is. Is it with some thought? It's part of your identity reacting to that thought. It's a part of yourself creating a story around that thought. or experience? Is it reacting to it in any way? Just observe that. And then gently guide your attention back to the nostril area. And just watch the breath coming in and out. No need to interpret, analyze the breath in any way, just to see it as it is coming in and out, feeling the subtle sensations in the nostril area as you inhale and exhale. And as you allow your attention to focus on the breath, naturally concentration deepens. And as your attention and concentration deepens on the breath, naturally your attention will start to gather, and naturally your mind and your thoughts will start to slow down. Still, some thoughts may come and go in the background, but more and more of your attention is on the breath. You start to feel a quietness, a silence within oneself as your thoughts slow down, and also a tranquility, calmness in the body as your attention concentrates on the breath. If your attention is scattered and your attention is moving to each and every thought, each and every experience, that's not a problem. That's part of the meditation. So in that time, you have an opportunity to become conscious of where your attention is habitually moving to the different thoughts, emotions, the different narratives within oneself, where you're feeding your attention to, your energy to. So each time your attention is caught up in some thought or emotion or some inner narrative, just take a step back when you recognize you're not with the breath, your attention is not with the breath. Take a step back and just try to, in the same way you observe the breath coming in and out, in the same way start to just observe that experience, observe that thought pattern, observe parts of you maybe which may be reacting to that thought pattern or emotion or experience. Part of your identity might be creating a story around that experience. It may be pleasant, unpleasant. You may try to push that experience away, pushing that thought away, or certain thoughts you maybe try to hold on to, or certain sensations, maybe pleasant, unpleasant, you may be holding on to or pushing away. Just to observe that, to recognize there's a part of oneself, part of one's inner consciousness, which is simply just aware, which is not invested in that particular experience. The identity may be invested in a particular thought, experience, emotion, or in a narrative. But there's a deeper space of consciousness within oneself, witnessing consciousness, which is not invested in each and every experience. It simply just is, simply just aware, simply just conscious of the different movement of experience, the different movement of objects within itself. And then gently bringing your attention back to the breath. With time and practice, your attention will be staying with the breath for longer periods of time. And you'll start to notice the more subtler sensations of the breath. In time, you start to go beyond just the observing the breath as a sensation in the nostril. You start to feel the breath as a flow of energy a flow of life force energy coming in and out the energy body. So that will happen with time when you're ready. First, starting by just observing the sensation of the breath through the nostril, and then in your own time, you start to feel the in breath and out breath as a movement of life energy with time in your own time. Just aware of wherever your attention is now. Is it with the breath? Is your attention with some thought? If your attention is with some thought or some other experience, take a step back and just observe that experience playing within you. Observe how your identity, your sense of me, I, may be interacting with that particular thought or emotion experience. Is it creating a story around that experience? Is it reacting to it in a certain way or perceiving that experience in a certain way? That deeper space within oneself is also aware of this sense of identity which pops up, which reacts and identifies with thoughts, emotions, experiences. And then recognize that space of awareness within oneself, a space of witnessing consciousness, which is undisturbed by identity, undisturbed by experience. And then gently guide your attention back to the breath, observing the breath coming in and out. And now I'll be moving to the third eye meditation. For those who wish to follow the guided instructions, you can do. If you're a beginner and you're just starting meditation today or recently, then you can just stick with the breath awareness meditation throughout this session. If you wish to follow the third eye technique, you can do. At any point, if you wish to come back to the breath, you can. If you find uh, your concentration is too focused and you're feeling some tension in the forehead area or feeling some tension, then come back to the breath. As the third eye technique is a more uh, intermediate and advanced technique. And so now just bringing your attention to the point in between the eyebrows and still aware of the breath as you're aware of the breath, feeling the breath as a form of flow of energy, breathing in, feeling energy flowing in through the nostrils, coming to the point in between the eyebrows. And as you exhale, just allowing your attention to gently rest at this space in between the eyebrows and feeling the energy gather at this space in between the eyebrows. So for a few moments, just as you breathe in, visualizing the breath as a flow of energy, breathing in this energy to the point in between the eyebrows. As you exhale, your attention and your energy is gathering at this point in between the eyebrows. With each inhalation, feeling that energy activating this point in between the eyebrows. And a gentle focus at this space in between the eyebrows, not trying to focus your attention too hard, just a gentle focus, feeling as though you're gently inwardly gazing at this space in between the eyebrows. A gentle gazing, inward gazing at this space in between the eyebrows. As you breathe in, feeling the energy gather at this space. As you exhale, just allowing your attention and energy together. This being an energy center, this third eye being the inner eye, our outer eyes perceive the world and objects and forms in the world, and our this third eye, the inner eye, perceives the inner world and the inner dimensions within oneself. and it helps us to connect to our own inner space. And in this inner space, inner silence, that's the space in which these experiences come and go, or created from and dissolve back within, just to connect to a deeper dimension of oneself beyond the normal form, connecting to the formless dimensions and subtler dimensions of oneself. So once you feel your attention is sort of gathered at this space in between the eyebrows, you can stop visualizing the breath coming in and out, and then just allow your attention just to rest at the space in between the eyebrows. And as your attention rests at the space in between the eyebrows, feeling as though you're looking inwards into the center of the brain and into your inside of the body, observing the sensations in the body. And from this space in between the eyebrows, feeling as though you're going deeper and deeper into oneself, connecting to that space element within oneself, connecting to your own inner space. And as you allow your attention to rest at this space in between the eyebrows and move into inwards into the center of the brain from this space, feeling as though you're looking inwards. Normally, we're observing everything outside ourselves through the physical eyes, but now feel from this space that you're looking inwards into your inner space, looking into your inner experience. Thoughts may come and go, sounds may come and go, emotions, different sensations in the body may come and go. But feeling as though you're just observing these different experiences occurring within your inner space, thoughts naturally coming in their own time, appearing and then disappearing back into your inner space. Starting to see things from a deeper perspective, start to see the reality, the inner reality of our experiences as they are, instead of seeing our thoughts and emotions through the veil of the identity, through the conditioned identity, which perceives the thoughts and emotions in a certain way, depending on its conditionings. Instead, we're seeing from the third eye, we're seeing our experience as it is moment to moment, without the past or future, just seeing thought as thought, seeing emotions as emotions. If part of the identity starts to come up and reacts to these thoughts and emotions, also looking from the third eye, observing this occurring within oneself, observing that part of the identity reacting to different emotions and different thoughts, and start to see that occurring within one's inner space. And as you look within from the third eye, you start to connect to that inner space within oneself, that inner silence, that inner presence within oneself, that inner space being boundless, infinite, formless, that inner space undisturbed by the continual movement of experience, the continual movement of thought, emotion, energy. You start to come in touch with a inner space within oneself, which is not disturbed by the continual movement of thought and experience. Normally, our attention is fixated upon experience. As the experience presents itself, whether that's through the senses, the outer world, or the inner thoughts and emotions and sensations, our attention habitually sorts of moves towards them experiences, gets caught up in their experiences, and then another experience comes and attention shifts again to that experience. consciously, this is continually, unconsciously, habitually happening. Our attention moving, shifting to each and every experience as it appears within our consciousness. But now we start to connect to that deeper inner space in which these experiences come and go. We start to connect to that screen of awareness, presence. And these thoughts, emotions are like pictures appearing, pictures, movements of light, movements of energy appearing and disappearing within our inner space. Our inner space is like the sky, is like that screen which is unaffected by the images which present themselves on that screen of awareness. So from the third eye, we're connecting to that inner sense of space within ourselves, in a space of presence. And from this space, experiences can come and go. We don't suppress them or push them away in any way. If we find part of our identity is reacting to certain experiences, we're also seeing this as a movement occurring within us. And we're connecting back to that inner space, that inner awareness presence, which just simply is here and now, which is untouched, unaffected by any experience. And so this is just a shift of perception. Normally, our attention habitually moves to each and every experience. Now we're recognizing that space, inner space, in which experiences come and go. So instead of jumping to each and every experience which continually comes and goes, we're recognizing that space in which experiences come and go. A space of presence, awareness within oneself. Inwardly looking from the third eye, connecting back into this space, this inner silence, this inner presence. And as you connect to that inner space, thoughts may sort of slow down. Still, you'll be aware of thoughts come and go within you. But you start to experience a gap in between thoughts, a gap in between experiences where your consciousness just reflects that inner silence within oneself. Start to feel that inner silence where there's no thought, there's no mind, there's no even sense of identity. There's just this space of being, space of silence, presence within oneself. If your attention starts moving back into the experiences, then just observe that and then come back, connect back to this space, inner space within oneself. And the quality of this inner space is that simple sense of just awareness. It's just simply present, simply is. There's a sense of just being aware, witnessing, observing. And so that moves to the last part of the guided meditation. Last part of the guided meditation is just simply abiding in the space within oneself. Experiences, thoughts, emotions, sensations may come and go, but it's all seen as a movement within one's inner space. even the sense of identity, me as a person, individual, separate from everything else. Even this comes as a thought or movement within your inner space. And you recognize that who you truly are, at your very essence, is beyond this identity we create, this self image we create of ourselves, this conditioned part of ourselves. Who we are is that inner space, that inner consciousness, which is beyond the mind, which beyond past, future, beyond time, space. So if you wish to now, you can drop using the breath awareness technique. You can drop the third eye technique if you wish, and just start to recognize this deeper space of silence, this deeper space of awareness within oneself. If your attention is caught up in some experience, in some thought, sensation, emotion, sound, then just be aware of that experience. And then just shift your attention to that sense of space or sense of awareness, that sense of just being aware of that experience. Instead of the object of experience, we're connecting to that space in which the experience occurs, a space within oneself, a space of just being aware, present. Not grasping onto any thought or experience, not holding on to that experience, just letting go, letting go. If these thoughts, not suppressing, but as experiences come and go, just seeing them come and go, not holding on to them, just allowing them to dissolve, appear, and disappear in their own time. And more of your attention absorbing into that silence within, that inner space within, that inner presence. And as you connect to that part of oneself, the deeper essence of oneself, there's no sense of separation, there's no sense of time, there's just a sense of just being. There's only a sense of time, separateness as you connect to thought, as you connect back to the identity. Then there's that past, future sense of me as this or image. But when you connect to the space, there's no differentiation. It's beyond thought, just simply is. And as we recognize this space within, the space of being within ourselves, there's a natural sense of silence, peace, calmness, joy, love, which is unconditional. It's not because of fulfilling any desire. It's just a natural fragrance of one's existence. The very core of one's being is peace, happiness, joy, love, fulfillment. A deeper aspect of oneself is complete within itself. Only the sense of identity feels incomplete, looks for happiness outside of itself, through thought, through fulfilling desire. Just resting in that being, resting in the center of oneself. And then the meditation becomes about observing, recognizing when you find yourself caught up back in the identity, back into thought, and you're reacting to thoughts and emotions from this sense of identity, is to start to recognize that the attention has gone back into the sense of identity and it's reacting to thoughts and experiences. And when you recognize that you've gone back into this unconscious, habitual way of being, which we're told from sort of childhood onwards, we're conditioned to believe we're this person with this past and future and these different beliefs and different identities and roles. But when we recognize that, we then shift our attention back to this space of being, back to that inner space, which is ever present, which isn't disturbed by any experience. So then the meditation becomes from recognizing when your attention is back in the old sense of identity and thoughts, to recognize that, be aware of that, and then come back to this space of awareness within oneself, come back to that inner space of presence being, which is before the sense of identity, in which the sense of identity comes and goes, appears and disappears. So it's a movement from the form, from thought, identity, a movement from the form, sense of solidity, solid sense of I, me, moving back into the formless, cosmic aspect of oneself, which is beyond thought, which is beyond the sense of identity, similar to like being like space in which objects can come and go, even subtler than space, simple sense of awareness, presence, not aware of something, but just awareness itself, recognizing aware of itself, that presence knowing its own presence, recognizing your own existence. So then the meditation becomes about recognizing whenever your attention has gets caught up back into the old forms of identity and thought and beliefs, and then shifting the attention back into that space of being. And with time, the solidity of the identity falls apart and start to experience life more from this space of being. And life expresses itself from this space of being through the identity, which is just a mask that we wear to serve our purpose in the world through this body. Start to recognize that our inner self is not stuck to any identity, is not limited by any identity. We can use the identity, serve its purpose in the world, and also drop it when it's not necessary and just relax into one's inner core being. And also, as we're playing out our roles in the world, whilst we're also acting out our roles in the world, we're also recognizing who we truly are in the moment without getting lost through the identity, losing ourselves in the world. We still have that complete conviction and recognition, awareness of who we truly are beyond the identity, beyond the roles we play in life. Just like an actor can act out on stage, but knows who he truly is, that he's just playing a role, just acting out a certain experience, expressing life in a certain way. So now coming back to the breath, as we finish, coming back to the breath, watching the breath coming in and out, coming back to our body consciousness, scanning your attention from the head, top of the head, down to the tips of the toes, releasing any excess energy down the feet, down into the earth, connecting with the earth energies, feeling the earth energies rising up the feet, up the body, stabilizing your consciousness, your energies into the physical body. Coming back to the external senses, or we have the sense of touch on the skin with your clothing, any sense of taste, smell you may perceive, or of sound, or we have the different sensations in the body, gently moving the body, stretching if you wish, and then in your own time, opening your eyes in your own time, opening your eyes when you feel ready. Yeah, so that's the end of the session. If you wish to meditate longer, you can do on your own, or if not, just giving yourself that time for introspection at the end of the session, also taking some water, some food, some fruit to help ground you, and just giving yourself that time if needed, just to relax and just to observe oneself and introspect within oneself if you feel necessary. So if anybody has any questions, I've got another 5-10 minutes today, not too much time today. How this is live streamed at the moment, and for some reason I can't end the live stream without canceling that entire Zoom call. So if anybody has any questions, you can leave it in the chat option, or you can just say via audio if you don't want to turn your camera on, as it is recorded on live stream. So if anybody had any questions, please leave it in the chat, or you can ask me via the audio. Yeah, if not, that's not a problem. So the next one will be, there won't be one next week, Sunday, because it's Christmas Day. So hopefully you all have a great Christmas holiday. After that, it will be the next Sunday after that, basically. After Christmas, there'll be one. And also maybe there'll be a sound one as well, which I'll be updating anyway. The next, thank you, have a good holiday. So yeah, thank you. So the next sound meditation in person at the Quakers is on the 7th of January. It's a new special New Year one. So yeah, thank you for coming. Thank you. Okay, so nobody has any questions, we'll be. Yep, thanks, Sam. Okay. Yep, if nobody has any questions, I'll be ending the call. Um, if anybody does have any other questions and wish to ask me privately, you can always message me via WhatsApp or send me an email. Also, every Wednesday, I do a free one-to-one session with people, so you can RSVP that for that via Meetup. So that's a free 40-minute session. It does get booked up, but if there's not any space, you can always message me and we can sort of arrange a time where you may wish to ask any questions or meditate together. Thank you. Okay. Okay, thank you. Enjoy your holidays, everybody. Bye bye.